Ah,
We can go, right?
yeah.
Okay. Opening session. Welcome, everyone. Quick update. I'm presiding tonight as Carolina or Trustee Martin has some work obligations and cannot join. I would also just like to remind you, back in June with Trustee Redus, we had agreed to suspend from services until further notice. We have no further information at this time. We are absolutely going to uphold this, and we're waiting until we get further information, and we'll share with you as soon as we know anything more. And with that, we will move to the Pledge of Allegiance. And Trustee Lau, could you lead us tonight?
Yeah. All right, place your hands on your heart. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we'll start with announcements of reportable closed session action. Okay, bear with me as this is, again, this is a fill-in position for me, but yeah, let me move over to this. Okay, for this one.
Yes, see, but it's already relisted right here, so there you go. So it's the same thing that we're talking about.
Conference, okay.
Yeah.
So conference with legal counsel anticipating litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. Number of potential cases, 1 high school district AL 2526-2. Do I need to read out all of those?
Read
Okay.
that, yeah.
Okay, so item number AL 2526-2, a majority of the board voted 3-0 to approve a compromise agreement with parents of a student to resolve special education claims against the district, including reimbursement of special education services, placement in exchange for a waiver of special education claim to date.
So there, that was done.
Okay.
So now we move on to the next
So moving on to conference with legal counsel anticipating litigation significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D2. Number potential case 1, this is for elementary school district AL 2526-3.
one. I need to say is that.
So direction was given to staff. Moving on to number 3, student services, government code. Oh, it's all right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now.
48915, consideration for student expulsion case number 2425-7. The board decided to uphold staff recommendation to expel student case number 2425-7. Motion passed unanimously.
Okay. And then the last one is to internet.
And I can, rather than going here, I
You
can
can
just.
just read that.
Okay. So during closed session, the board took action on the following agenda item. 3-1, consideration of confidential student matter, interdistrict transfer appeal, elementary school district case number ITR 256-1. The board decided to uphold the staff recommendation to deny the transfer request for the student case ITR 2324-1. Motion passed unanimously.
And then you have one more left. Sorry.
And this is the same as
The same.
the one we just had. Okay. And during closed session, the board took action on the following. 3-1, consideration of confidential student matter, inter-district transfer appeal, elementary school district case ITR 2526-2. The board decided to uphold the staff recommendation to deny the transfer request for the student case ITR 2324-1. Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, that's it.
So that's it for closed session announcements.
Correction.
Oh,
That,
did we read the same one, Clive?
no, the student case at the very end, that was a typo. It said 2324. It should have been 2526-2
Okay.
for this one and the
So can
one
we
prior to
Note
it.
that in the.
Yes, on my little notes.
Do I need to do anything right now?
I don't believe so.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the correction. Okay. Now for announcements, we will start with our union representatives. So let's start with SRFT.
Thank you. I appreciate the courtesy of letting us go first. I have 2 small children at home who are waiting to get tucked in.
Understood.
Yes.
Good evening. I'm Morgan Agnew, President of the Santa Fe Federation of Teachers, the union representing certificated employees in the high school district. I want to start by acknowledging the loss of life, the injuries, and the displacement that has resulted from the horrible fire in the Canal District last week. SRFT stands with the affected families and our community partners like Canal Community Alliance who are supporting them. We're passing the hat among our members for donations to CCA's Client Support Fund, and I would encourage everyone who's listening tonight to also make a contribution if you can afford to Canal Community Alliance's Client Support Fund. I want to use the rest of tonight's report to highlight the many positive changes that have happened at our schools over the summer and express our gratitude for the hard work of our administrators, site and district staff, and our contractors. We have new bathrooms. We have had insufficient staff bathrooms for years, as well as student bathrooms that have invited disruption and unsanitary behaviors. The new bathrooms are a huge improvement in both regards. And can I just say, when I remodeled one bathroom in my house, it took 4 months and they did like 12 of them over the summer. So I'm very impressed. We have new perimeter fencing and new gates. 2 months?
No, Tim,
43 toilets.
43. 43 toilets, okay. Yeah, 4 months to do one in my house. Are you available for?
Yes.
We have new perimeter fencing and new gates. In addition to making our campuses significantly safer, the new fencing is also a tool we can use to reduce student tardies by funneling students into a single point of entry where we can document tardies in real time and increase accountability. The new fire alarm system is so much better. The old one was so loud, we actually filed a grievance because we detected the noise levels were beyond OSHA's safety limits. The new system is much less disruptive when our students set it off by vaping in the bathrooms. The ban on students bringing personal laptops combined with the rollout of the Securely platform has given us another valuable tool to keep our students on task during lessons. And finally, both comprehensive sites have rolled out new tardy and attendance policies. Anecdotally, we're already seeing positive impacts, especially at the start of the school day and after lunch. So thank you to our contractors who worked hard over the summer installing fences, gates, fire alarms, and bathrooms. Thank you to the administrators and classified employees who spent much of their summer preparing these new policies and procedures to be in place on day one. Despite the challenges we are facing in our community and nationally, we are off to a strong start for the school year. Thank you.
thank you.
I believe we have SRTA and CSA online. If those speaking could raise their hand. All right. We have Brianna with SRTA and Tanya with CSEA. They will both be coming over. Okay with you? I'll see who's here first and they can begin. We have Brianna. Brianna, if you want to get us started.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Diaz-Geisels, and San Rafael City Schools community. I am Brianna Padilla, President of San Rafael Teachers Association and an instructional coach at Venetia Valley School. This evening, I am reporting on behalf of the SRTA membership of nearly 300 educators, grades early intervention and TK through 8th. And SRTA would also like to echo Morgan's sentiments for those affected by the Canal Fire last week and encourage those donations to Canal Alliance. Welcome back to a new school year. Throughout the month of August, many of our members participated in optional professional development sessions or PD and conferences, instructional leadership team retreats, and returned for contractual PD early in mid-August rather. Our elementary members attended role-specific sessions for TK, special education, counseling, elementary art for visual and performing arts teachers. K-5 received training on the new math curriculum, CMC, which we're all pretty excited about. And our middle school members at Davidson and Venetia Valley Middle Schools prepared together for further implementation of standards-based teaching and learning with professional development on language development integration across subject areas. These were all very busy days before setting up the classrooms, getting lesson plans ready, and greeting students last Wednesday. And SRTA members are grateful for the time that was embedded to be able to complete our mandated Keenan training, which was new for us this school year, so that before and after school and our prep times can be fully dedicated to the lesson planning and preparation that we all need to do. And around this time of year, SRTA educators are really eager to build relationships with their new cohorts of students and the families and prepare for this week's back to school night events. So we look forward to seeing various cabinet members, different district leaders, and board trustees visiting our sites along with the families throughout this week. And lastly, we see that our revised CBA or contract is on tonight's consent agenda. So we want to give a huge shout out and big appreciation to Roxana Cruz in Human Resources for all of her hard work on collaborating with Kelly, our bargaining chair, on preparing this revised collective bargaining agreement for your approval this evening. Many hours went into ensuring that the tentative agreements and all of the evaluation or system of professional development documents were updated and formatted correctly. So thank you again to Roxana and also to Darlene for getting this ready for today. I hope everyone has a great school year. Thank you.
Okay, we have Tanya with CSEA.
Hello. First of all, it's nice to see you, Teresa. I wanted to say that last week, but didn't get a chance to. So nice to see you, Teresa. Good evening, Superintendent Diaz-Geisels, school board, trustees, and district leadership. CSEA echoes both SRTA and SRFT's sentiment regarding our families affected by the fire in the canal. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the whole community. I hope everyone was able to have a relaxing summer, and I hope we're all ready to get back to the grind. Some of our classified have been hard at work all summer long to make sure that we were ready to receive students for a new school year last week. I know the tentative agreement between CSEA and San Rafael City Schools was voted on at the special meeting last week, but I still want to take the moment to thank you for the collaboration that has guided our recent negotiations work together. This was a long one. The respectful dialogue and willingness to listen have made a real difference in how our classified employees experience this process. Our classified staff have truly felt seen and heard. It speaks to the value this board and our district leadership place on the contributions of every employee who helps our schools run each day. We are in preparation for our next round of negotiations. We have started to survey our classified members to gather their priorities and perspectives. This input will help us enter the next session informed, focused, and ready to continue building on the progress we've made together so far. We look forward to continuing this collaborative work, strengthening the partnership between classified staff and the district, and ensuring that the voices of one entity of those who support students daily remain at the center of our conversations. Thank you again for your time, your partnership, and your ongoing commitment to our membership and our families and community. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we can move on to our board member updates. Trustee Lau, we will start with you.
Thank you. Trustee Kerr. I just want to say a few things. Welcome back, everyone, educators, staff, and parents, students. I hope that your new school year is off to a great start. This is a very special year for my family. I think along with Trustee Kerr as well. Our sons both go to TL and their senior year. So we know that this year is going to go by very quick and very fast, and we'll be really enjoying and looking forward to this new year. I'm also impressed walking into the district office the first time, seeing all the wonderful work that the district have done, the team that really, facility team and the modernizations, we're able to turn this around very quickly and look very professional, very welcoming space for our district staff and parents alike to come in. I know there's a lot of work that put into even before, right after the summer, everyone's have to pack the office, putting all the boxes together to get it all put together. So I know everyone's putting in lots of hard work. So I really want to acknowledge the team, the district staff for the hard work and all the busy work we've done this summer. I also hear from my son, we're going to TL all the new bathroom, all those things that put in. So I know all the significant improvement that has been made to the district. Last, I participated in the all staff welcome back celebration event for the first time on Tuesday, August 19. So for the first time, we witnessed the whole entire district staff together as a SRCS community. So I'm really truly impressed by everyone's spirit. And especially I'm impressed by the speakers, both the student speakers and the teacher speakers. It was truly a very transformational experience for me at the time. So I'm really looking forward to this new year. And again, thank you for everyone for your hard work and support. So.
Great.
Thank you, trustee Lau.
Thank you. Well, good evening. First, welcome back to a new school year. Congratulations to our students, staff, and families on a successful first week of the 2025-2026 year. And again, kudos to the renovations and facilities improvements that have been very impressive. Although I did not see an update video of the district transformation, so maybe that is a teaser. If you folks in the community do not know what I'm talking about, I really want to thank Tim and his team for providing very timely and transparent video updates. You can find them on our video on our website. You can find them on our YouTube channel. But I think it's really core and key that these these bond investment dollars, people know where it's going, and it's a community responsibility, and they've been wonderful. But I am looking for that district video update. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that today, August 26th, is also Women's Equality Day. It is both a celebration of the right to vote and a reminder of the ongoing work for equity and representation. On August 13th, Deputy Superintendent Bob Marcucci and I were able to join the Education Workforce Housing Site visit in San Mateo County, hosted by the Marin County Office of Education. This site visit was helpful in regards to the Oak Hill Education Workforce Housing Project Initiative. And I want to thank all those who put this site visit together. It was actually the third site visit opportunity for different district administration, staff, administration, cabinet, and school board members to be able to visit some examples. And it helps to, I want to encourage other school board members from other districts, if you have the opportunity to participate, to be curious to see similar projects. This is something that's worthy of a site visit. On August 19th, again with Trustee Lau and President Martin, to join the San Rafael City Schools All-Staff Welcome Breakfast at San Rafael High. Really want to congratulate the spirit winners. If those folks who are not familiar, there's a spirit contest, and each of the schools showcase their spirit to kick off the new year. So I really want to thank the top three that placed, and that was Venetia Valley. It was Early Learning Center, as well as Davidson Middle. And that spirit, I hope, continues on with the rest of this school year. On August 21st, I was able to attend the Marin Latino Leaders Summer Mixer and had the chance to learn about the important work happening in our community. The Ritter Center is an important nonprofit, and they shared about their strong progress on their building expansion and services for our unhoused neighbors. And Canal Alliance was there, and they shared how we can take action to support our families that were impacted by the tragic Canal Apartment fire last week. I'll close with a community call to action, which has been a theme with our union brothers and sisters. Please support the families in the Canal neighborhood affected by the fire. The best way to do this is to donate directly to the Canal Client Community Alliance Fund, money or gift cards specifically. This is a designated fund in partnership with Marin Community Foundation, the County of Marin, as well as the City of San Rafael. These funds will go directly to the families that are affected by the fire. Additionally, I want to thank our San Rafael City Schools leadership team, especially our Director of Community School Partnerships, Pepe Gonzalez, and our community liaisons for providing support, because there were direct SRCS families that were affected by this fire. But as our union brothers and sisters shared, it also affected our Bahia Vista community, it affected our Canal community and our community partners. Just because, this is the Canal neighborhood, it doesn't mean it's part of our San Rafael City School family. So the best way you can support these families is by donating to this fund. This work is only just beginning, and our continued support matters. Thank you. End of report.
Thank you. My update will be short and sweet. I have met with the facilities committee earlier, or a couple weeks ago, and I was assured scissor wheels are coming. As much as we like talking to or hearing from Tim, we prefer scissor wheels. So they're easy to digest and very exciting. So we're looking forward to those. Also, just welcome back to everyone. Looking forward to exciting new school year. Already impressed by all the enthusiasm by the things that are starting and kicking off. Walking into the district office on the first floor, seeing the transformation happen. It's kind of like everything's coming together now, seeing the aquatic centers come together. So I think everyone will be very motivated and excited as we continue on in this new facilities that we have. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, welcome back. Tim, how much was it a week? 4 million?
$4.86 million a week.
It shows. So thank you for you and your team for all that you've done. Pepe, thank you for you and your team for everything that happened. We have the joyful part of our community and also the not so joyful. And we came together at both ends. And Manisha Valley Early Learning Center in Davidson Middle, we owe them, Mr. Marcucci, some ice cream.
It's a lot of ice cream.
They won. So it was great to be able to be at school sites the first day and see all of the excitement in our students and teachers and even our administrators' eyes. So I wish everyone a happy school year. And tomorrow are our back to school nights. So at our elementary. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
That's it for announcements. Now, I would like to get a motion to approve our agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve agenda.
Moved by trustee Deneva Marsh. Do I have a second?
A second.
Moved by trustee Lau. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So our agenda is approved. So moving on now to public comment on non-agendized items. If anyone has a public comment, if you have a blue slip, you can share that here. We can also check for hands online for anyone who wants to comment tonight.
Yes, if you wish to give a public comment on Zoom, please use the raise hand feature. Again, if you wish to give a public comment on Zoom, use the raise hand feature. We'll give it a moment. Seeing none.
So no public comment. We'll move on to item number 8, approval of the consent agenda. First, I'd like to ask any of the trustees or if there's anyone who would like to pull an item or talk about an item tonight that's in our list.
No.
The item 14, I think Paul answered me earlier, but I think would you like to share and provide the quick is it up for discussion or
You can bring it up for discussion. I think what we do is we would
just pull it?
we pull that out and then we would
Discussion.
approve everything else, right?
Yes.
And then do this one
So we'll
separately.
pull 14 and put the item number 14 in discussion in action.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So all other items, are we okay to have a motion to approve consent?
Motion to approve consent agenda minus the removal of 14 to discussion action.
Motion moved by trustee Deneva Marsh. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, trustee Lau. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We don't really have much of a choice tonight for first and second motions.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So will we move 14 to the top of the discussion items or should we put it at the end?
Actually, I'm requesting that because we have 2 gentlemen here who have been waiting quite a while, I would like to move number 5 up to the top and make
Okay.
that first.
I can do that.
And then we could do my item number 14 right after that.
Okay.
Great.
14. All right, lucky you. So the business services, approval of contract with I Am Ready, Keenan and Associates for threat and physical security assessment at all school sites and the assistance implementation of the comprehensive school site safety plan. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yes, I can kick us off. As
Thank you,
you
Bob.
recall, in the spring of last school year, we had a comprehensive threat and physical assessment, physical site assessment. And we worked with Jason Vickery here, who's with us, and he has his partner as well. And this was through an agreement with Marin Schools Insurance Authority and Keenan, who is our risk management partner. We entered into a contract with I Am Ready and were able to procure the expertise of Jason. And he is here tonight to talk a little bit about what he saw when he came and where he sees there may be need for improvement and implementation going forward. And sort of the next step on our journey of making our schools safer from a physical threat assessment standpoint. And so I'll let him get started. There may be some slides where I want to add some context just so you know One example would be, you heard from our Morgan Agnew, our SRFT president, talk a little bit about the perimeter fencing and some of the single point of entry and some of those things that as soon as we saw the information that came back in this assessment, we just put it right into action and got our principals all on board to implement the pieces that we could right away. And so Jason's gonna talk a little bit more in depth on a lot of those, and then also talk a little bit about what we're recommending as our next steps, working together to ensure that we make good on any areas where there's some gaps. So I'll leave it to you, Jason, after that preamble.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. First, just a little bit of background about who I am and why I'm with Keenan. I spent 20 years with the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Retired out of there as a captain. From there, was lucky enough to get a job right in town where my kids went to school at the school district, and spent 3 years as the security director there, and became really familiar with school safety, how it integrates with law enforcement, all the different intricacies that can happen, obstacles, things like that when you're trying to beef up security and things like that. And did that, like I said, for 3 years, and then I was given this opportunity to come work with Keenan, and here I am. Been here a year, love it, it's great. So anyway, with that, what I'm gonna talk about, a lot of the things that are on here, and if you've seen the report, they're not, the things that we put on there, they're not things that are gonna cost a whole bunch of things to fix. They're things, what you'll see a lot of times when things happen across the country, when the worst case scenario happens, when you have an active shooter or something like that. Especially when I was a security director, I had the community come and ask me, hey, what are you doing? Why don't we have bulletproof windows? Why don't we have higher fences? Why don't we have metal detectors and all these things? And my response was, those things have their place in certain situations. And mainly when I talk about the situations where those are really valuable is crimes of opportunity things. So people wandering around that shouldn't be, getting on the campus, doing things like that. But when you're talking about worst case scenario, I always go back to 9/11. Before 9/11 happened, a few years prior, they had tried to bring the towers down with a car bomb. And they were unsuccessful in bringing them down. But after that, all sorts of security measures were put into place and millions of dollars spent, and still the bad guys were able to do what they were gonna do despite all those measures that you put in. So what I talk about is, okay, well, the question is, okay, well, if that doesn't work, what do we do? Well, a lot of it comes back to what are your policies, what's your practice, what's your drills, what's your culture, and how committed are you to those things, and helping mitigate, if something was to happen, mitigate those potential injuries and things like that. Let's see. So one of the first things, and we just already discussed this with the perimeter fencing and access control, especially on the secondary sites, as you can see on there. Super important that our sites have a front line defense, which is your security fence. It also, for anybody that may have any idea of doing something, they see that fence, they know that security is important. Super important also that when I walk some of the sites, you have some of the push bar gates that are supposed to spring back. Well, they're not springing back. So it's really important to make sure that our sites, put those requests into M&O and get those type of things fixed. So those gates aren't wide open, so people can just walk right in through there. And as you can see, there's an open door right into a hallway there on one of the campuses. And along the lines of access control, and I think we kind of talk about it, and I think everybody knows the importance of a single point of entry. Being able to know when folks are coming on, when they're leaving, and controlling that, especially your visitors and things of that nature. In fact, a lot of school districts I go to in that point of entry, kids leaving have to check out at that single point of entry. It's very controlled, and they know who's coming in as well. As far as visitor check-in, all the sites had a procedure to check in. However, what I found was not all of them checked for ID, which again, super important to do that. Some of the things that, like I said, kind of the extra stuff, when you talk about visitor check-in type situations, there's systems out there that'll take the ID and spit out a visitor badge that you can slap on that actually will run you through Megan's Law database. And just kind of giving a little more sense of security. That's, like I said, that's not something you have to have, but that's just kind of a above and beyond.
Can I jump in really quick, just so you know that both our high schools are currently piloting Verkada visitor check-in system that is similar to what Jason's describing. So we're trying to get a sense of Verkada, which is a company that we use for all of our video surveillance, that they have a product that, you know, that we may be able to use. So we'll get Jason's thoughts on that as well as we go forward.
The other, about the visitor badge, there are some issued visitor badges, some did not. That should be something that's, you know, district-wide. Everybody has hopefully the same type of visitor badge and everybody is wearing them. Not all visitors I saw on campus were wearing badges. It should be, again, our admins should be making sure that staff and everybody are questioning anybody on our campuses that's not wearing a visitor badge or has a staff ID, which was one of the other things we found. Many staff not wearing ID. So you have staff walking around, you have visitors walking around with no ID and nobody questioning who they are, which again, you know, the issues that can cause. As far as your open campuses on high schools, this is one of the only districts that still has that policy. I'm sure that that's probably something that's been talked about many times, because it can be controversial, right? I could go into the pros and cons and we could have a whole hour discussion on that, correct? My personal philosophy and what, you know, all the training and things, it's not optimal. It's just, there's so many issues that arise from it from a safety and security standpoint. You know, especially when you're talking about if something was to happen, you have a bunch of kids off your campus and unaccounted for, and that can create all sorts of headaches, especially when you start talking about reunification stuff and accounting for people, and then kids coming back onto campus, not to mention the things that happen off campus that we, you know, so. Arrivals and dismissals. So this one, when I visited some of the elementary schools in the morning, what you have is parents all coming onto campus. A lot, you know, just a stream of parents, unaccounted for, not checking in, and then dropping their kids off and then leaving through one of the exits. This presents a lot of different challenges, because if someone was to come in with that group of parents that didn't have a kid, slip into a restroom, slip into a classroom or something like that, then, you know, we'd have to explain why that happened, or how that happened. This is something that even when I was a security director at the district we had Friday morning flag salute lineups, and the parents were all out on campus. And of course, logistically issuing them all a visitor badge it's undoable, right? So what are you gonna do? I, as a parent in that district, I didn't want to give up that. I loved going on campus on Friday with my kids and seeing the awards given out and things like that. So what we did is we came up with a system for our elementary school staff and said, hey, here's a way to do it so you can assure at least relatively positive that you're not going to have anybody wandering off into a restroom or something like that, is, you know, putting staff members along the pathway to the blacktop and making sure nobody that's coming in gets off that pathway, staying there for the 15 minutes. And then as the parents all leave, making sure everybody leaves, making sure all the bathrooms are locked except for maybe one or two, checking those bathrooms and doing that. So, and again, that's not just arrival and dismissal, that's about kind of like when you're having a lot of people onto your campus and the challenges that can present. One thing that, listening to the Sandy Hook, one of the Sandy Hook mothers, and Brian and I both heard her speak a couple of weeks ago. Her child was in one of the classrooms at that school that day. He survived, however, the teacher did not. And the issue was that I believe they even had a locked door policy. However, her door, you can only lock from the outside with the key. And I know most of yours are, you lock it from the interior. But the door wasn't locked and she didn't want to, because the bad guy was in the classroom next door down the hallway. So she didn't lock the door and they all huddled in the corner. The bad guy came in and did bad things. And her kid made it out alive. However, not everybody in that classroom did. And she is adamant that had that door been locked, that wouldn't have happened. So best practices, and almost anybody you talk to in this industry will tell you that why the school day is going on and why class is in session, the doors should be closed and locked. Exterior hallway doors and interior doors. I ran into, when I was back at the district this can be a problem because it creates inconvenience for instruction, right? Because you have to get up and open the door. And we met with the union and had to work those type of things out to be able to institute that policy. But it is best practices and it really eliminates that if the worst case scenario happens, it really eliminates that teacher or whoever's in charge of having to take care of that. Window coverings. So various across the district, when we talk about windows, there's a couple things. So when Keenan Loss Control comes through and does inspections, they'll come and look through and make sure that the windows aren't covered, okay? For SAM purposes, sexual assault, molestation allegations, things like that. And then they'll hear from security folks and say, you should have your windows covered in a lockdown, right? But that's in a lockdown scenario. So what I found was a lot of the classrooms did have drop downs for those windows. A lot of them did not. A lot of them had them covered up completely, representing that issue. So again, not something that would take a whole lot of money or anything to fix, but just institutionalize and say, hey, we make sure that when people are walking by from the inside, folks can see in. If there is a lockdown, we drop that down. One of the unique solutions we came up with where I was, because a lot of the windows, the classrooms from the interior were like fish bowls. So they would have window shades and of course the kids would be messing with them. They became inoperable, broken, and also under a stressful situation, very difficult to maintain enough composure to get the slides down in a lockdown situation. So what we did was we tinted out all the exterior windows, which I know most of your campuses have that. And then on the interior windows, we put a mesh, kind of like with graphics and things on them, school graphics, colorful, that allows you to see in when the lights are on, when the class is being taught, and you flip the lights off and you can't see into the room. This is a relatively cheap alternative and it worked great and you're not messing with shades and things that get broken and the kids miss. As far as organized security, so we talk about your campus security. In the state of California, campus security guards, all of them are required to have state mandated training. It's SB 390 training. It's 24 hours of training that's required. As of right now, most of the guards that I talked to hadn't been through the training. So in that training, they learn laws, they learn de-escalation, they learn a lot of things that when they come out of that class, they're more prepared and are more confident in doing their jobs once they've been through that training. Uniforms across the board. I saw some different types of uniforms. I think it's really important that your campus security all has a unified uniform. Everybody's wearing one thing. It could be like a polo shirt, but it identifies, it says campus security. It's an awesome deterrent when somebody might be walking by or driving by that may have a bad intention when they see somebody with, that actually says security on their shirt and is patrolling the campus.
Just to jump in, that's something we're actively working on right now in our office is getting school uniforms for all of our campus security that say safety on the back. So we're working on that.
A handbook. I teach campus security guards and so does Brian up and down the state. And one of the issues that comes across almost every time we're instructing them is that one site has one set of rules, they have another set of rules on a different site depending on what the admin is telling them at those sites. And it's not the admin's fault because admin, they're not trained security supervisors. They just are an admin and all of a sudden they're new, so they get the campus security. So, and they just go off of what they've been told. With these campus security guidebooks and handbooks, it spells out exactly what your duties are, what you're supposed to wear, how you're supposed to act, what the, what the legalities are and use of force and those type of things. When I instituted this, of course, we had to get an MOU with CSEA. I think they liked it the most. The campus security folks appreciated it the most because it standardized across the district, everything that they were supposed to be doing. So if you had a new admin or somebody come in, they had that book to look at. Everybody was on the same page district-wide. So it's really beneficial to have one of those. There was, some staffing issues at some of the campuses. That should probably be looked at, especially at some of the high school campuses, maybe adding some campus security and having enough to where if somebody has to monitor a bathroom and then somebody gets pulled away from one other thing and then one person called in sick, you're basically down to nobody patrolling. And if you have enough staffing, then you're able to do things like go and check doors, go and check perimeter fencing, be visible, do those things. You can't do those things when the staffing's too low. And then I talk about the SRO program. That's kind of near and dear to me. I was an SRO back in the day. And I am just a firm believer. It's a great deterrent and a great way for kids to really get to know local law enforcement and have positive relationships with the law enforcement. The school district I was at had that program, and I think the cops on campus were, my kids just adored them. So I love that program.
Could you just share for the public what an SRO is?
School resource officers. Sorry, school resource officers. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So video surveillance and I guess with Verkada, you guys have upgraded that and some of the things in there regarding policy. Just some things should be instituted in the policy of your video surveillance, in board policy actually, kind of who has access to it, when they have access to it. Do you have an MOU with the local police department of how they're supposed to access it? Things like that to clear those type of things up. And then identifying, it's really important when we're putting them up, and I guess you guys have put up a lot over the summer.
We currently have 266 cameras around the district, but there are definitely, areas where we still need, in order to have 100% coverage, there's still areas that we're working on.
Yeah, important in those front lobby areas, lunch areas, gathering areas. And over time, as you keep adding them year after year, it becomes more robust into something that after a few years, it really not many spaces that aren't covered. When we talk about the protocols and the plans, it's really important that the entire district is on the same set of emergency protocols. In talking to some of the admins, I wasn't really confident that they all understood what the emergency plans were. What I recommend and what I used is universal across the country, is called the Standard Response Protocol. And the admin staff, everybody knows what it is. It's called lockdown, hold, secure, shelter, and evacuate. Just real simple. And with that terminology, you incorporate that into your emergency operation plan. You put up posters in every single one of your classrooms with just what each one of those entails and what that means. Why that's important is because, when we hear the term lockdown, a lot of times the police will call and say, hey, we're chasing a bad guy over here. Lock it down, lock the school down. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean we should stop teaching class. Kids can't go to the bathroom, things like that. That should be when the threat is on your campus in a lockdown. So how they differentiate that is with the terminology called secure. So we're in a secure. So if you're a staff member and you're here secure, you understand that, yeah, I'm not gonna dismiss kids to walk into a situation out there, but whatever that threat is, it's not on campus right now. And we can teach and have instruction. And typically law enforcement will come over and work with admin on letting you know what the situation is and when you can lift that. So we know when we go to lockdown, that the threat is actually on our campus. And then you go into your protocols of run, hide, fight, that type of thing. In addition to that, the comprehensive school site safety plans, we're in the process right now of bringing those up to speed with all the sites. We have a pretty robust system in doing that. This is one of the things that I've noticed when I look at what grand juries come back from when they review school district security measures. One of the first things they ask for is these comprehensive school site safety plans. And they'll look through them and see who's not compliant. And one of the things that they really seem to pick out most of the time is the lack of collaboration when developing those plans, and that they're created in a silo with one administrator or two administrators. The Ed Code specifies how to develop and update your plan every year, and that involves either the site council or a designated safety committee. And what they do is they want to look at the data from the year before, crime data, suspension data, expulsion data, and look at maybe what did we do really well, what do we need to work on, and put that into the plan. And that's kind of the, you know, the nuts and bolts of what that plan is all about. In addition to that, your plan will have board policy regarding reporting child abuse, your response to certain situations. It can get really long, 100 pages or so, but the sites are only responsible for a smaller portion of it, including those meetings and things that they have. So we're in the process of getting it, and within the next, I'd say 6 weeks to 2 months, your school site plans will all be up to date. Going through some of the board policy, there are some board policies that are from 2008 regarding safety stuff that probably need to be updated with even looking at Gamut or something like that to bring those up in line. Some of the campuses reporting, there's areas that the PA system can't be heard. So it's really important if we know where those areas are. I know that neighborhoods sometimes don't like our systems up so loud because they don't want to hear the announcements all day. There are ways around that. There are ways to do it so emergency notifications are louder than what your regular notifications and such. Probably what I would say is to recommend one thing to bring in, what I think is probably one of the single most important things I brought in at the district I was a mass notification system. And what it was an app-based system, and there's several of them out there. Okay, there's all sorts of vendors that put these systems out there, but it allows any staff member to initiate a lockdown, and it puts it out across the school. And what that does is if I'm a noon duty or if I'm a PE teacher and I'm outside and a threat comes over the fence, traditionally what you see is they've somehow got to get that information back to the front office. We've got to find the principal. We've got to initiate the lockdown. And if you can imagine the time that closes, you know, while all that's going on, with these mass notification systems, your lockdown has begun as soon as it gets swiped. Some of the questions, my superintendent was a little bit hesitant, saying everybody's going to have the, you know, gosh, I hope we don't have any accidentals. We didn't in the time I was there because we made sure we trained on it, and I went and trained every staff member. This is when you use it. This is how you use it. This was a for. These systems also can provide information during these emergencies. So when if you're in a lockdown, for those teachers who are in a room and don't know what's going on, these systems have the capability to update so you can see in real time with people texting on there that are aware of what's going on. So decisions can be made from those folks that are in that lockdown situation. Signage and wayfinding. So in a lot of the campuses, it's really difficult to know where that front office is when you pull into the parking lot. It's important that there's adequate signage so people understand I have to go to the front office to check in. It says visitors must check in at front office, you know, and having those things up and directing people and funneling them towards your front office is important. The other thing is on your buildings themselves. I think at San Rafael High had some really good markings on the exterior buildings. So when first responders come in and they're responding, if they don't have a map, it's going to be really hard for them to know which building to go respond to. If there's a big letter A on the side of the building on, you know, different points of the building where they can see that, then they know exactly, oh, that's building A, that's building B. You can even, as you go on and progress through things like that, start identifying different doors and entrances, things like that for first responders. But at a minimum, having those things identified on the side of the building. Again, visitor directions, pointing them out where to go. I visited the sites at night, and a survey really should be done on most of the parking lots. There are so many really dark areas, and I know you have staff that have to stay till after dark. There may be people there after dark. Really important that the appropriate lighting is up to prevent anybody from trying to do something. And also that lighting be sufficient enough that those folks could be identified on a security camera if something were to happen. Some of the training, some of the training that I recommend, I do a lot of this, it's emergency operations center training. So as a school district, and the school districts are like everybody else, required to be involved in with what FEMA requires for incident command structure. And there's a systematic way of dealing with either from a site level or from a district level on how to manage an emergency. That way it streamlines communications, it streamlines the effort, and it disrupts duplication, lack of communication, those type of things. So there's lots of good training on that out there. And it doesn't have to be, you can go get a master's degree in this stuff, but it doesn't have to be that extensive. But just understanding what everybody's role is, either from a district-wide standpoint or from the site standpoint. Again, talking about that protocol training, like I talked about the standard response protocols. De-escalation training, great for staff, vital for your campus security folks. And then going to that run, hide, fight, or run, hide, defend, or ALICE, what people call it, and how to respond in those situations if the worst case scenario was to happen on one of your campuses. From a maintenance standpoint, when we look at crime prevention through environmental design, one of the things is sight lines. And one of the principles of it, and one of the things that you'll find time and time again, is that bushes should be no larger than 2 feet tall, and the trees should be at least 7 feet high. So there should be clear visibility from, when you're looking out a window, when you're looking over trees. And again, not something that would take a whole lot of time, but just ensuring that all those bushes are trimmed down to 2 feet and that your trees are only, have at least 7 feet from the ground up. That's it, and then that's a real quick version of that assessment. Are there any questions regarding the assessment itself for now?
Nothing on the assessment, but how do you prioritize where to start?
That's a great question. So when I kind of brought these to Mr. Martucci, we said, wow, this is a lot of stuff, right? And he asked me the same thing, and I said, well, your security director should probably be, prioritizing this with a safety committee, and then going through and figuring out what can we do now, what can wait, how fast should we get it done, and in that committee, bringing in folks from CSEA, from your teachers union, that type of thing, and working on it together. And that way you also bring in things that I may have missed or that staff members have that they can bring in. But anyway, in talking to him, I said, we haven't done this before, but I said, I've done this, and the things that I did at the district, a lot of it, I didn't have to be there to get it handled. I didn't have to, be there for the day-to-day calls of a disruption or something like that. It was big picture things like we're talking about here. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it really, as you look down, it really should be run by a committee, and the committee comes up with what they think is the priority. Then they go to whoever the decision maker is to start pulling the, figuring out, okay, we're gonna do this done, we're gonna get this done by this date, we're gonna do this by this date. We wanna make sure this is implemented, because you're talking about implementing policies, making signs, all that kind of thing.
Is this facilities budget or not facilities budget, but like maintenance budget, like where all this stuff?
I think it
comes out of,
touches
like,
probably
Because
touches
some
a
of it
lot.
touches both, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's maintenance, some of it potentially could be decisions we make around future bond construction or modernization. And then some of it is just, you know, good old general fund things that we need to do. And I think we, you know, upon seeing this, we've already identified some really low hanging fruit that we can begin to implement. That is just sort of a change in behavior and a change in messaging to our staff. But when you think about the training that's involved, the ongoing, you know, consultation, I mean, you know, what Jason was saying is, well, your security director should do that, and you know, a number of us over here laugh because we don't have a security.
I'm not gonna lie,
director.
during this entire presentation, I wrote two
I think that's
phrases,
you, Bob, right?
security
Like,
director
yeah,
and
sure.
safety committee, and I'm like, I want to learn more.
So, you know, I think what we're leading into is the next piece in this, which is we've identified the size of the work, and hopefully we all understand the importance of the work. And there's no way that I believe we're gonna be able to do this without some continued expertise, implementation, training, and somebody who's gonna help guide that work. And so in talking with Jason about sort of next steps, we have a contract that we'd like to bring forward, which is part of this item over the next 3 years for Jason to work closely with myself and district staff and our site administrators and what I'm really most excited about is working with our campus security people and really maximizing what they do and the role that they play, and then making sure that, you know, all of our teachers and other staff know what to do. And I think we need some support in reshaping the culture in our district around safety. And it's good. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can't think of anything more important than making sure that our students are safe when they're here and our staff are when they're here at school. So that is the sort of the approval that we would be asking for tonight, is that continued contract beyond just the assessment, but actually the implementation.
Yeah, it seems like some of this stuff too, it would be like, not everything needs a committee. Like some of the stuff I think is just like, you can just do this, right? And then there's committee stuff. Like I just think of the lighting, like when, like that's with the facilities or building stuff, and probably just like start.
Things like the locked door policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like cutting hedges down, like it's probably not too controversial.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get it in the.
And that would be my commentary is that, well, one, thank you for this work. The fact that this assessment has happened. I know President Martin isn't here, but it's something that she's been strongly like an advocate and a champion in terms of safety. So I just wanted, I know she's not here, but I know that's something that's also passionate about too. It's very extensive, and I just think about like how my colleagues are also wearing badges. Usually I'm very much all about my name badge, but I left it at home. But when I step onto campus, I make sure I have my trustee badge. And so it's like, how do we also role model it here as well? Because this is also a district space. So thank you for that reminder. My previous lifetime, I worked at the County Marin in specifically Office of Emergency Services. And so when we move forward, well, my hope is that when we move forward in our continued partnership, an assessment happens about, you know, how do we leverage those who may be further ahead? So I think of the revamped Office of Emergency Management, how you just elevated in your presentation about the Emergency Operations Center and the Incident Command Center. When we work in partnership, I know our Director of Communications, when I first met her, I actually was a Deputy Public Information Officer for the County of Marin and sat in an activation with Christina.
So you've probably been through NIMS 100, 700.
NIMS, everything FEMA. So I know that I am not a subject matter expert, but I appreciate what you're bringing to our general public because it's an important investment. And the more that we can not normalize in terms of like a scare tactic, but show it's a shared community responsibility of being aware what the consistent policy, the consistent procedure across all 12 of our campuses, it's really key. But then how do we also then elevate that with our community partners? Because I use the Canal District Fire as an example, we still had to be in communication. And the more we streamline how we do this prep and planning when there's not an emergency, this actually will also translate how we do wraparound support services. I think about COVID-19 and the distribution of the vaccine centers and et cetera, et cetera. So I feel that this investment that we're using here could actually translate to a lot of other spaces and places that might not seem like fire, flood, but it could be also in proactive community resource spaces too with our community partners. Meaning there might be some funding that the Office of Emergency Services or maybe our partners at MCOE, maybe we can share in terms of training if we decide to move, not how we decide to implement. And I just wanted to elevate that creative thinking of as we're looking at the partnership funding.
Yeah, I think I too agree that your plan is pretty comprehensive and I again appreciate the effort the district have done to keep our students safe and the staff and teacher as well. I'm glad you mentioned also the PA system and the mass notifications. So I think those are important because the plan is only good, you know, if we don't able to execute and communicate to folks, you know, especially at the outbound on the fields. And so I know at the college we use a wave system, so we can push out those notifications. So communication, I think, is the key. I think some of the failure of some of the school district or you look at the recent incident at New York City was saved by because of communication. That they will notify someone. But even though they have some very secure office, it seems like, but if the staff don't know what's going on, that's what happened that one of the staff maybe just out about, not aware of the situation and not getting notification. So I think those communication probably were important. Also communication maybe with the local law enforcement during the incidents, who's taking command, and I don't know if they're all under the city of San Rafael or is it also with the county in some of the areas. So I think those possibly need to be part of the communication plan as well. Recently, we did a tabletop exercise at work, on our campus. I find it very useful, very real, because we actually have, everyone's actually getting phone call from the phone, the incidents command, and then we start to, take actions and what we need to do with different roles. So I think those training that I think you mentioned and the tabletop exercise, this probably will be very beneficial. One thing that I also can think of is the district we also have outside group that use our campus, like the sport teams or the after school program that run the, childcare or after school program on our campus. Hopefully those groups will be also included and understand that what the emergency action plan is. And so that those can be protected, because even though they may not be our program, but they're also our students that are attending those events, so. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you for your comments and thank you for the presentation. I'd like to move for a motion to approve the contract with I Am Ready.
Motion to approve the contract.
Motion approved by trustee Deneva Marsh. Do I have a second? Second by trustee Lau. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
The committee, like that,
Safety
how does
committee.
that,
I
get
think
brought
what
up?
we'll do is bring in a board update, the next steps regarding the contract and how we move forward to implement, how we
Sure.
prioritize too. Some of the things are small, as he said, like,
Yeah.
and
Some things you
are
just
big.
go and then some things are committee
Yeah.
type. of
Yeah.
thing.
We'll definitely do that.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back to closed session item number 14, and that's student services. Is it Bob, you're gonna speak about that one, or is it?
I think the question was more related to
Of course.
financial impact.
Yes.
So I
yeah.
can just share what I had shared. If
Okay.
there are questions about the specific ION
Software.
contract, that would be a Susan question, but
Yeah.
Here just in case.
Just in case. Thank you.
um,
So this is approval of subscriber agreement renewal between ION Software Group and San Francisco City Schools for data management systems.
so this is a contract that has a rate per student, so it's $5 per student, and so we anticipate with district, district-wide, meaning across both districts with roughly 7,000 students, we're thinking it's about $35,000 a year, depending on how enrollment fluctuates, right? Because all students we have to account for all students within this program. So for the 3 years, the total is roughly 105,000, but that cost is split between the elementary district and the high school district. So annually, it's about 22,000 in the elementary and 13,000 in the high school district. So that's the financial impact.
That's great. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay.
Questions. I think the contract itself is fine. Just want to make sure that since it's over 100,000, I know we want to highlight those contracts so that we know the.
So we
fiscal-
internally make sure that that does not happen. Anything that you see in consent, unless it's capital facilities, because that's different. But anything from ed services, student services, special education, anything that's under consent is always less than 100.
And that contract is it's 1 year, but it can be extended for 3 years.
Right.
So if we get the AI agent for it
Thank you.
next year, we don't have to continue.
Right.
Okay.
It's true.
Very good. Okay, so a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
aye.
And 14 is approved.
Great.
So that takes us through consent and then back to discussion and actions. And now we move up to number 1. Board business approval of resolution number 2526-1 proclaiming San Rafael City Schools dedication to serving the needs of each and every student with ongoing recognition and awareness. So these are our
These are our yearly
resolutions.
resolutions. We are going to put them all in one list. It is to show our annual support of who we are as a community. And we wanted to be able to acknowledge and recognize the dates throughout the year, but we wanted to get them formally approved in one fell swoop. But we will be coming back and acknowledging what we're doing. I know Trustee Lau, you had a question or a request.
Yeah, no, I really want to commend the district for actually putting the whole and the list together to really kind of looking at kind of from a really bigger picture and acknowledge all these different special events or recognition of the day. I understand the list is not exclusive, but if I may, as a Marine Child Care Commissioner, I would like to advocate that to include and to observe also the month of young child in April. Especially our district also provide services for TK and K for the early childhood education programs. I know last year Marin County, the County Child Care Commission, and the Marin Child Care Council and First Five Marin, in conjunction with the National Association for Education of Young Children, they celebrate this month of young child during April. I think it's important to recognize how we make early child care and education affordable as a reality for Marin County resident, and also honor the workforce that provide this very important work for our children and students and families. So I would like to add that also to this list. But I do understand it's not necessarily a exclusive or comprehensive list.
Very good. Any other comments?
Was that a comment or was that a request? I'm just trying to get clarification.
It's a request, but it doesn't stop us from moving this one.
Oh, okay.
What we can do, Trustee Kerr, is approve the list as it is,
Mhm.
but with a revision of adding this resolution on if you.
Okay.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, so a motion to approve this resolution as it is with the ability to add.
The month of the young child in April to acknowledge
you.
TK and K students.
So I motion to approve this list with the revision to add month of young child in April.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
And this one passes. All right, number 2, human resources. Acceptance of the Williams quarterly report for period April 1st to June 30th, 2025. Darlene, I'm
Yes.
guessing this is you.
Yes, thank you. So as you mentioned, this is the board is presented with the April 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2025 Williams Quarterly Report for acceptance. This item is being provided as part of our ongoing commitment to transparency and to keep the board informed of any Williams-related activity conducted during the quarter. So our current considerations are quarterly reporting is required by Ed Code. Staff from the Marin County Office of Education are required to conduct annual site visits to designated Williams schools. MCOE staff conducted visits to Terra Linda High School and San Rafael High School during the fall of 2024. This report serves as the quarterly report for the period of April 1st through June 30th, 2025, and also includes the follow-up information on previously identified issues. One specific item mandated for inclusion in these reports is the status of teacher misassignments and vacancies. This current update addresses the resolution of a complaint at San Rafael High School. And their definition of a complaint would be a teacher misassignment. So for San Rafael High School, for the 23-24 school year, based on the census date of October 2nd, 2024, there was one overall teacher misassignment. Specifically, 2 classes were taught by a teacher who lacked the appropriate authorization and training to instruct English learners despite 20% of or more of students in those classes being designated as English learners on the census date. So a little background on this teacher was employed for the 2023, 2024, and 24-25 school year. During this time of employment, the teacher was in a credential program to earn the EL authorization. However, the teacher has since resigned as of June 2025. The teacher did have a preliminary credential, so he was in a program to clear his credential for the course. So this misassignment has been resolved due to the teacher in question resigning and not returning for the fall of 2025.
And does this one have to approve?
Yes.
Okay, any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Okay, a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the Williams Quarterly Report.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, item number 3, human resources again, approval of resolution 2526-2, resolution authorizing certain certificated staff to teach in a departmentalized setting.
Yes, thank you. So the board is presented with this resolution for the elementary school district authorizing certain certificated staff to teach in a departmentalized setting for recommended approval. The teacher has a multiple subject credential and he or she is in the process of obtaining their art credential. This is her position for this school year is a VAPA teacher, which is our visual and performing arts teacher with elementary school district. And so this local board authorization would allow her to remain in this program while she moves forward in trying to obtain her multiple subject credential. Her art credential.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Can I have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
Approved by trustee Lau.
Second.
Second by trustee Beneva Marsh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, 6, education services. Consideration and approval of the memorandum of understanding between Marin County Office of Education, San Rafael Elementary School District, and Kentfield School District for the year 25-26 school year.
This is gonna be our Director of Community Partnerships, Pepe Gonzalez.
I thought I was gonna have to go out for donation, I'm getting a
I
little
think,
worried.
yeah, we donation.
Oh,
Oh,
donations, item number 4, business
Oh, I-
services.
Can we move it to like the end so we can end on a high note? Is that possible?
We have to stick with it, yeah.
No,
Or
we
can I
have to
move
make
it?
a motion to move it to the end.
Yeah,
Can I make a motion to move agenda item number 4 on donations to the end of the meeting, please?
I second.
Okay, I don't know that I can make a motion.
No, he
for that.
second. I
Oh, you
motioned.
second? Okay,
I made the
very good.
motion
You
and
made
he
the motion,
seconded.
very good.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, move to then.
Thank
Very
you.
good, thank you.
Director Gonzalez.
Thank you for making that motion so that Bob can have all that donation.
I love his Price is Right voice. Let's go.
I did not want to follow that. So this is a great opportunity that we have to partner with Kentfield School District, Marin County Office of Education, and extend and try out this model pilot program with our 5th grade students in our ELOP after school program. So it's a lot of partners, it's a lot of things moving around, but we also feel it's a good opportunity for our 5th graders to have like a 6 or 8 week rotating school to school from this teacher from Kent Middle School to expose them to wood shop and woodworking and skills. We're gonna be safe about it. I know that's something that initially came up with so they're gonna bring all of the materials pre-cut and ready to go so that our students can get excited about building things with their hands that'll prepare them into, Mr. Singer's makers and wood shop at Davidson. Mr. McCabe has a similar CT background in Davidson, and then also it funnels right into our high school. So it's a great opportunity. It's costing us money, but it's an allocation from the grant. So we need to be transparent about that we have a CTE grant and we're taking an allocation from that grant to pilot this.
Thank you. Any questions? Sounds like a really interesting program. Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, we're excited about it.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Okay, make sure I don't miss anything else there, so we're on stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, initial consideration, student services, first reading of board policy. For very pregnant parenting students.
Yes, and thank you so much for your consideration of the first reading for initial consideration of this board policy for married, pregnant, and parenting students. It has been since 2017, since we have come back and revisited this policy. We have a reason for bringing it back to us today, and that is because we have had a higher number of student pregnancies in the past school year. We've been consulting with Health and Human Services who have seen the number rise as well. We've been speaking with various agencies here in Marin, including a community clinic, and really just trying to do everything we can to strengthen our policy so that we can make sure that students have the services and our staff know what the legal terms are for serving our pregnant students and or married students. So this AR and board policy really spell out all of the new guidance since 2017, including some of the Title IX language around providing space for lactation services, making sure that students it's explained to them what their rights are. And really for us, just developing more of a chance within our own teams to really discuss what this policy is. So we have also revisited our home and hospital policy and our procedures there. I'm going to hand out something to our 3 board members. It was compiled with in consultation with our coordination of services teams. As they were discussing, obviously it's our wellness coordinators and our counselors, mostly in the high school, who were discussing in their costing meetings how they would approach the support for our pregnant students. And what they found was they needed to do more outreach. So they called in these services and they came in and met with the cost teams so that they could educate them about what it looks like and what the services are for our students so that we can better align and communicate to our students and make sure they get a warm handoff to some of these services that are available for them. There's a home visit program, there's a WIC program. You'll see there's about 20 different resources that our wellness team, our coordination services teams have gathered. So we're bringing this to you tonight for consideration. There are a lot of updates since 2017. I think us doing this now will help us be much more clear with our staff and be able to better serve our students.
Susan, you may want to mention the number of students that we have.
Yeah, we have between 10 and 20 students between last year and this year. So we've already identified a couple of new students this school year who are approaching their due dates. And we're having discussion about how we will we want to keep them engaged in school. So they are eligible, as you read through this, they are eligible for a leave. However, what we want to do is talk to them about how can they keep their foot in the door here, and so that we can continue to support them and they can continue to have access to school. And so that's really been our conversation with the.
And you said 2 years, over the last 2 or 3 years?
Since it's really been last school year when we saw the numbers rise, and we've already identified a number of students this year.
Will these update and change of policy requires any modifications of budget to, like, for example, lactation room in those facilities? Do we have it available?
We currently have them available for our staff at each of our schools. So, and what I have seen, we have had some pregnancies on campus of our students before, and there is always space that's made available.
Any additional questions? Okay. Motion to approve the first reading.
Motion to approve the first reading.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It'll come back on consent, correct?
Yes, we will come back to this in our next meeting for your approval.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have to vote on this one, so.
Well, you
You still,
approved.
the first
Yeah,
reading, we
and
still
then-
did, okay.
Yeah, that's the process, and then now it'll come back in your consent for the final.
Oh, the consent piece, got it, makes sense. Thank you for keeping me on the. Okay, student services, first reading of the board policy and regulation 5113, absence and excuses.
All right, well, thank you for the opportunity to review this first reading of the board policy and the regulation 5113 for absences and excuses. All of these policies are really updated with CSBA recommendations so that they encompass all of our new laws. And you'll see that the board policy specifically is being updated to add some more language about, what an excused absence is. And they're giving some examples of students who may work in the entertainment field or the allied industry. And it's also, the policy has been updated to include the requirement for teachers to provide identical or equivalent assignments and tests when a student has an excused absence. And I would have to say that's largely typical that would be offered for students anyway. And then our administrative regulation includes some new laws around the number of days a student may be absent for a funeral or grieving a family member. That's 1 and 2. And there's also new laws about students attending a religious retreat for no more than 1 school day each semester. So those are the biggest changes in this policy and administrative regulation. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Thank you, Susan. Motion to approve.
For clarification, do we have to do 2 separate votes because one is a regulation and one is a policy, or is it just all encompassing? Okay, motion to approve.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. And take it, this next one is you as well.
Yes.
First reading of board policy and regulation 5113.1, chronic absence and truancy.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity to review the first reading for the board policy and the regulation 5113.1, chronic absence and truancy. So our last board policy was about excused absences. This one is all about if students are missing school without an excuse. And so they're considered truant or chronically absent. So there are some new laws that we're including into our policies here. This policy has not been reviewed since 2018, so there's a lot to add. The policy itself includes some language that is about, how we're identifying chronically absent students and providing them with appropriate support services and interventions as early as possible. There's also new laws about implementing attendance recovery programs for students in TK to 12. We are not necessarily doing that program right now in the district, but it is available for schools in the state. The administrative regulation is updated to include truancy for information for notification requirements. So we are required to notify families that their students are absent, especially if they're chronically absent or truant. We have a procedure for sending out notifications and for setting up meetings and for making sure that these meetings include conversations around support and what is the family seeing as a barrier to getting to school, and finding ways to help the family and the student with remedying those barriers. So that is this one also includes language around that attendance recovery program. Do you have any questions?
I know you're updating the policy, but are these that we're already doing,
Yes.
right?
Yes, so we have a protocol across this district about how every school handles the attendance procedures. So when we have students who have missed a certain number of days, they're getting a letter sent home. They're definitely getting a phone call, but at a certain threshold number, they are getting a letter sent home. Then another threshold number, they would be coming in and having what's called a SART meeting with an administrator and usually some support people in that room as well to talk about how to improve. And then there's another layer of the SARB meeting, which is a district level meeting with multiple parties there who can also offer support and maybe lend a new perspective. Then the next layer would be the SARB meeting at the county office, where the district attorney is participating in that, and potentially families and students may be placed on probation.
Any additional questions? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank you.
Now, these are two contracts coming up, the last two items we have this evening, in addition to the donation. Are well over the amounts, $300,000. So if you want to explain.
Sure. So both contracts are nursing contracts. One is for Amerigus. The other one is for Heart of Humanity. These are our estimated costs for nursing services for students in general education who have special needs. Sometimes the student may have diabetes, type 1 diabetes. They may need some insulin management. They may be for that. We do have a student who has a G tube and needs a nurse with him throughout the school day. These services are typically over $100,000 for the entire school year. Sometimes we have new students come into the district who may have these needs. And between the special education department and student services, we would make a decision about how we are going to provide that service. And so that is why there's a little bit of it's an approximate number, but we wanted to be we didn't want it to be too low and then end up spending more. We wanted to start high and see what we can do from there.
Is $100,000 each, like 10 to 100,000?
It's usually about $100,000 for each of those two contracts. At least the last few years, that's what it's been.
And is it per student or per group of?
It depends because we have one student who really only needs a check-in a few times a day. And we have another one who has a full-time nurse all day. Like, it just really depends on students that we have in the district at that time. We have another student who had a full-time nurse, but she's getting better. So we're looking to hold a new meeting and get some more information from her medical team and potentially make a change there.
So think of it as a balance that we set the bar at 100 grand, but we may not use the entire $100,000. It just depends on our students that come in with 504, if they're home in hospital. It depends on, we have to be prepared to provide them that support.
But this is the allocation that we're allotting, okay.
This is probably a dumb question. Do any of these operate as general nurses, like for all of the student body? Like,
Sometimes, like, we have had some nurses where they are stationed in the front office. And so if students come in with a headache or, they need something,
help with
like
that
they're
too.
able to help with that too.
so there is.
That.
And our district nurses are connected with each of these nurses, so they know if they're out, they can help get coverage. And then also if there's additional work that needs to be done and they know they have some time on their hands, then they can jump in and help us with that as well.
Okay, that's good to know. And we should go through these and approve them separately, so let's start with 10. So approval for 10, which is between San Rafael City Schools and Heart and Humanity.
Motion to approve.
A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Quickly move on to 11, approval between San Rafael City Schools and Emeritus Healthcare Staffing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. So now we can move on to the fun item. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Just leave you hanging.
Donation.
Here we go.
Donations.
Alright. Students of Terra Linda High School in the Applied Arts classroom, come on down.
Can we just make that a practice that the donations just move to the end of the meeting? That'd be great. Thanks, Sue. Go ahead.
Door number 1, you'll find the Pasha Group and $2,500.
Wow.
Yes.
So very generous donation from the Pasha Group to the Applied Arts classroom at Terra Linda High School. I'm sure for all kinds of supplies and materials related to their work. And so very grateful and thankful to the Pasha Group.
All right, motion to approve
Motion to approve.
or to accept?
Oh, motion to accept the generous donation.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we will accept that donation. Thank you very much. And I do believe that we can now
Gotta bring it.
adjourn. There's nothing else in closed session. Okay, our next regular meeting will be September 9th, 2025.